The West Hollywood Human Services Commission acknowledges that the land on which we gather and that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood is the occupied, unceded, seized territory of the Gabrielino Tongva and Gabrielino Quiche peoples. And with that, we will call the meeting to order. May we begin with roll call?
Commissioner Borelli.
Present.
Commissioner Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Ayers.
Here.
Commissioner Palmieri. Here. Commissioner Wyville.
Here.
Vice Chair Williams.
Here.
And Chair Adolphson.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Great. And with that, may I ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next up is the approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, I got a first from Commissioner Borelli and a second from Commissioner Ayers. Roll call. Commissioner Borelli.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Ayers.
Aye.
Commissioner Palmieri. Commissioner Wyville. Vice Chair Williams.
Yes.
And Chair Adolphson.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Great. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Excellent. Do we have a second?
Second.
Great.
Okay,
I second.
okay, I have a first from Commissioner Davis and a second from Commissioner Ayers. Roll call. Commissioner Borelli.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Ayers.
Aye.
Commissioner Palmieri.
Yes.
Commissioner Wyville. Vice Chair Williams.
Yes.
And Chair Adolphson.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Excellent. All right, next up on the agenda is our public comment. I just want to be clear that this is general public comment. The next item on our agenda will be the public hearing. The Human Services Commission values your comments. However, pursuant to the Brown Act, the Human Services Commission cannot take action on items not listed on the posted agenda. Members of the public have 3 minutes to speak in this section. This public comment period is to address the Human Services Commission on agenda items or items of general interest within the jurisdiction of the Human Services Commission. An additional public comment period is offered at the end of the meeting. I also want to add that the same rules will apply to our public hearing, which will then be 2 minutes each. All right, and we have a couple of general public comments, beginning with Eugene Maysky, followed by Joseph Green.
Good evening. Hello. Good evening, Chair Adelson, Vice Chair Williams, commissioners, city staff. Tonight I'm addressing the Commission as a resident, but to provide a brief perspective of the experience that I've based my recommendations on, because we are talking about a lot of needs for the community tonight. I wanted to state a couple of things. My day job is a West Hollywood tenant outreach organizer for the Coalition for Economic Survival, CES, where I protect tenants' rights for our community. Also, in the past 10 years, I've been working for the oldest LGBTQIA nonprofit organization, the Imperial Court of Los Angeles and Hollywood, where I now serve as a vice president of the board. And also, I've become a secretary of the board for the first Russian-speaking community in the country, LGBT nonprofit organization, ours in the USA. And I've been a member or a chair of the Russian-speaking advisory board to our city. So I kind of became a cross between multiple communities in our city, and that's where I based my recommendations when it comes to the needs of our city. And I made a list of bullet points not to waste your time tonight. The most important thing would be protecting rent control in our city, preservation of rent-stabilized units, combating slum housing conditions, stopping unjust evictions and displacement of tenants, protection from gentrification of our advocating for new affordable housing throughout political and legislative initiatives, providing legal immigration support, full cycle support, not just 589s, for LGBT and political refugees, providing shelter for the refugees, providing language support and assimilation support for LGBT refugees and newly arrived, providing mental health support and community groups for Russian-speaking LGBT refugees, having and retaining on-site social workers in senior housing facilities, accessibility across all services, including translation and subtitles for hearing impaired, advocating for targeted outreach and household assessment to identify specific needs of the households in West Hollywood, proposing a universal income program for the most vulnerable community members based on the test program that we ran in the city recently, and we got good results from it. Recommending improvement to census questions to better capture community needs, including the Russian-speaking growing community based on horrible event that's going on in Russia and Ukraine. The Russian-speaking community has been rapidly growing in the city of West Hollywood, but the last census didn't reflect that because of the wrongly
thank you, Eugene.
posed questions. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a good night.
Okay, there we are. Thank you, Eugene. Joseph Green.
Good evening, Human Services Commission. My name is Joe Green. I'm a resident of the city of West Hollywood. I was appointed last night to the Disabilities Advisory Board, and I also serve as the co-chair of the LA County Commission on HIV. With regards to the Disabilities Advisory Board, I'm the liaison for the LGBTQ+ Commission and the Transgender Advisory Board, so I've attended all of their meetings. And so I wanted to give a shout out to the LGBTQ+ Commission for their amazing Rainbow Key Awards event last night. I encourage all of us to try to participate in other advisory boards and commissions. It really does make a difference. Also, today, Capital Drugs in the city of West Hollywood hosted a SPA 4 meeting, which is the service provider area. They had about 40 providers in the room, and they had presentations by the Inner City Law Project and other organizations to talk about their services. So I want to acknowledge the city for that. Finally, April 10th, the Commission on HIV will be having a very important meeting regarding contingency planning with approximately a $40 million shortfall in our budget. So that's going to be a long meeting on more of that to come. And lastly, Hollywood United Methodist Church is my church. I serve on the board. Tonight, right now, if I wasn't here, I would be at Spirit Pub at Rocco's. But this Friday is coffee with the pastor at Fangirl Cafe. So lots of community stuff. Thank you all for your service, and I look forward to later on tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. And we have another public comment speaker, John Allendorfer.
Good evening, Human Board and board members. Hi, I'm John Allendorfer, a resident of West Hollywood before it became a city, and I am chairperson for the Older Adults Advisory Board in this city. I'm here because I want to see more activities for older adults/seniors on the west side of town. Plummer Park, they do a great job from classes, so many classes, and the center in Hollywood, the Gay and Lesbian Center in Hollywood, they're great. But on this side of town, we don't have that much, and we have these great rooms upstairs. Why can't we have an art class? Why can't we have a demonstration on how to walk, how to exercise? And even, why can't we have a staff person up there helping seniors out with questions instead of them having to go on the east side of town? I know at our meetings, we really push to have more activities over here. The swimming pool is great, the pickleball is great, but let's use the rooms. We have Seniors in Action, and we get people once a month. Again, I'm really stressing, we need activities for older adults on this side of town.
Thank you, John. Quick announcement before we move on. If somebody lost their wallet, it is being held at the secretary's desk. And please be honest if it was yours. All right, with that, we will move on to, there's nothing for the consent calendar, so we'll move on to the reason we're all here tonight, our public hearing. Amy, I believe if we're moving on to public hearing item number 3A, it says the public hearing on social services priorities. The Human Services Commission will hold a hearing on social service priorities and initial activity of the city's social services funding process for 2025 through 2028. The public hearing is now officially open. Are there any disclosures from commissioners? Okay. Secretary Amy, how is this meeting noticed?
As required by law.
Excellent. All right, and again, these will be 2 minutes each because we have a lot of great comments ahead of us. Our first speaker is Katya Nelson, followed by Yola Dore.
Good evening. My name is Katya Nelson. I'm with APLA Health. Great to see everyone tonight. I'm here with basically a general comment to say that, you know, in light of and in sort of support of what my colleague Joe Green said, we don't really know what the future is going to look like with funding for a lot of the services that our community provides. And we just want to make sure that the city of West Hollywood makes sure to continue to protect and preserve all of the services that clinics like ours offer. You know, I think Joe mentioned that we're going to be having deliberations at the HIV Commission and probably seeing significant cuts, and that is definitely going to impact services here and folks that live in West Hollywood. You know, we just opened our new site on Santa Monica Boulevard and Pharmacy, and we want to make sure that we can continue to help people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katya. Yola Dore.
Good evening, commissioners, and thank you for your service tonight. I am Yola Dore, a 30-plus year disabled resident of West Hollywood, a member of the Disabilities Advisory Board, but tonight I'm speaking for myself. I'd like to make sure during this funding cycle that persons with disabilities and older adults are well taken care of, considering the draconian cuts happening all around us. And I urge you to look carefully and remember something we've always done here. We've always made an effort to take care of one another. It doesn't matter that we agree on everything, but brainstorming, we always make it work. And this time, against this adversity, I know we can. We can't have cuts to JFS. We can't have cuts to the LGBT Center in any fashion. We cannot have nutrition cut because so much is being cut by Washington, and we need to ever so pay attention to the medical costs that are facing us. I urge you, please, if you need our help during this cycle, we're here for you as much as you are for us. And thank you so much to the staff that supports you and supports all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Yola. Next up, we have Sally Valenzuela, followed by Irene Sanchez.
Hello and good evening, commissioners and staff. My name is Sally Valenzuela, and I'm Chief Program Officer of Pathways LA, a childcare resource and referral agency serving Metro Los Angeles, which operates a West Hollywood preschool located in Plummer Park through the wonderful partnership with the city. The city has been a wonderful partner in supporting us to provide a high-quality early care and education program for the youngest residents of West Hollywood. We're currently located in the small bungalow building, like I said, in Plummer Park. And we're needing some more space. The bungalow is old. It's needing more and more maintenance, and we would really like to be able to expand the program that we have. Currently, we have 2 classrooms with 32 children, but we are equipped to serve many more young children. We're currently at full capacity, and actually, when we look at the data for the city, out of the childcare providers that serve West Hollywood, there's currently 0 spaces available in center-based programs for infants, and we are equipped to provide that care. So we ask that as you're looking at your priorities, that there's a possibility for us to be relocated into a bigger space where we can accommodate more children. That would be wonderful. We currently operate a program that's a mixed delivery service between subsidized low-income families and fee-paying families. And it offers a really high-quality, diverse program that really benefits all the children in the program. We have a partnership with Metro Transportation Los Angeles for a program in downtown LA. So we're experienced in doing this kind of service, and we can easily replicate it here. We appreciate the city's support on an ongoing basis, and we would love to have you hear from some of the parents that we serve a little bit later in public comment. But again, we're ready to serve more children, to expand the services, and hopefully to have a better equipped space even for the children that we serve now.
Thank you, Sally. Is that beautiful chime with the time? Okay, that's lovely. Great, thank you. Thank you, Sally. Irene Sanchez.
Hi, everyone. My name is Irene. I am the parent of Ace, who is a child at West Hollywood Preschool that's funded by Pathways LA. I just wanted to give you guys a quick synopsis of my story. This program has greatly benefited and helped me and my family, actually. Years later, we are returning. My mom was actually able to really better her financial situation through this program, and now it's my turn to take advantage of all the great help that's out there, right? So I really just want to say that this program has really helped me be able to continue growing career-wise, school-wise. I'm a little nervous. I do actually have another daughter who is 2 years old who is on a wait list. I would love to be able to get her enrolled in school soon because she's so ready, and I'm so happy to see how passionate she is about, kind of meeting her milestones. And, at home she's not getting the quality time that she deserves to be able to socialize and be able to, enjoy the opportunity to be around other kids and be stimulated. So I think it would be great to have the program grow, and financially, I guess we could have a bigger space so people like myself who are trying to pursue better career options, school options, have have a space where we could leave our child with reliable reliable child care. So that's just a little bit about where I'm coming from. I would just like to see the program grow. I think it's very beneficial to families who are really needing to take advantage of great opportunities that are out there. So that's it.
Thank you, Irene. You did great. Next up, we have Gabby Rojas, followed by Martha Ortega.
Good evening, folks. My name is Gaby Rojas, and I'm here representing the Safer WeHo Coalition, which is a group of individuals and organizations from the West Hollywood area that work to prevent drug and alcohol-related harms here in the city, which have been on the rise in the last couple of years. With that in mind, we want to continue to strongly urge the city of West Hollywood to continue and deepen its investment in both substance use prevention and harm reduction, recognizing that these strategies are deeply interconnected. We must expand broader prevention efforts, including community trainings, educational town halls, and public awareness campaigns. By utilizing the city's strong communication channels, media campaigns can play a powerful role in shifting norms, promoting safer behaviors, and ensuring residents know what resources are available. At the same time, we must continue supporting harm reduction work being done in the city. Harm reduction is prevention. When we provide access to life-saving skills like naloxone, clean needles and pipes and drug testing kits, we're not only reducing immediate risk, but we're creating entry points for education, connection, and long-term behavior change. And lastly, we want to strongly support the creation and funding of substance-free third spaces throughout the city. These are places for social connection that don't revolve around alcohol or drugs. These should be comparable in quality and accessibility to the city's well-known nightlife options, such as bars, clubs, and cannabis lounges. And while we understand these spaces take time to build, we believe that one-off and more permanent events are essential in shifting these cultural norms around substance use. Substance use prevention and harm reduction aren't just strategies, they're lifelines. They lower overdose rates, reduce harm, and increase the safety and well-being of everyone in our community. So thank you for your time, y'all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Gaby. Next up, Martha Ortega.
Good evening. My name is Martha Ortega, and I am the site supervisor at West Hollywood Preschool at beautiful Plummer Park. I have been the supervisor for the past 25 years, and I can tell you a lot of stories of how many children we have impacted and changed their lives, one child at a time. We have already returning preschoolers with their own children, which is amazing that they still remember all the beautiful things they did in preschool and how impacted they were. From doing cooking experiments for gardening, from doing nature walks through the park, which I also invite you to come when you have some free time, if you ever do. It's fun to be there and see how we are building the future of our country, because those are the children that are gonna become lawyers, doctors, and probably our next president. So it's important for us to invest in the future, which is our children. And that is the reason why we want to serve more family, more West Hollywood community members, to be able to serve from when they're infant all the way to preschoolers and ready to transition to kindergarten. And for them to be kindergarten readiness, they're ready to thrive, to grow, to be community members, to be able to socialize, to recognize their own feelings, their own emotions. They do all that at preschool, and I would like to thank the city for all the support. And hopefully, before too many years go by, we get to see a bigger building that we can serve more families. And we're ready to do that, like Sally said. Like I said, we already have parents bringing their own preschoolers. Never enough time. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Shannon Houston, followed by Jamie Baker.
Good evening. My name is Shannon Houston. I am the Director of Family and Child Care Provider Services for Pathways LA. And as Sally stated, as part of our program, I oversee the West Hollywood Preschool and the Child Development Center at Union Station in partnership with Metro. While our Child Development Center at Metro already provides care for children as young as 6 weeks old and follows a mixed delivery model serving both fee-based families and subsidized families, West Hollywood Preschool is currently only providing subsidized care for preschool-age children, and we are only currently able to take 32 of those. Our hope is to expand the West Hollywood Preschool to include infant and toddler care and a mixed delivery program so that we can welcome fee-based families. This would allow us to meet the needs of a broader range of families in the community, including middle-income families. And also, they would all benefit from the mixed delivery program because of the high quality standards and tools that we implement to ensure the quality of our program. Infants and toddlers are currently in a space where there's not enough care for them, and so providing infant and toddler care would ensure that families in your community have access to high quality infant and toddler care services. And when conducting a search for the zoning of West Hollywood Preschool, of the 32 childcare providers in our service network, there are only 35 spaces available, and currently 0 of those openings for infant and toddler age. West Hollywood Preschool is uniquely positioned to help fill this gap, and we're proud to exceed basic licensing requirements using well-established tools such as CLAS and ECHRS to ensure classroom quality and high-quality teacher-child interactions. Our team engages in monthly professional development opportunities to ensure that they're highly trained. They're also teacher permitted, and many of our teachers have college degrees. We also provide free developmental screenings at no cost to all families enrolled, regardless of income. And these screenings allow us to identify any developmental delays, which provide us the opportunity to connect them to early intervention services, which we know are proven to support long-term school success.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon. Next up is Jamie Baker.
Good evening, commissioners, city staff, and audience members who are here to advocate for programs they care about. Good luck to all of us as we start this daunting process. My name is Jamie Baker. I'm the executive director at Being Alive. 5 years ago, we were plunged into the unknown and forced to shut down our services temporarily due to a dangerous virus. Today, that virus is back in the form of political upheaval and is already harming the most vulnerable among us. The loss of funds from the federal government that power programs at the state and county level are at grave risk. Without funding for prevention and services, new HIV infections will increase, quality of life will decrease, and overdose deaths from lack of access to harm reduction supplies will rise. In a recent article in the Lancet HIV, due to global cuts in HIV funding, we could see 10.8 million new HIV cases worldwide and nearly 3 million deaths by 2030. These numbers are shocking, and in our community, we will suffer proportionate results if HIV services are cut. Fortunately, we have the City of West Hollywood and your incredible commitment to stay that beacon of hope for so many. Of course, we cannot save the world, but we will make a meaningful impact in our little corner of it. Now we must ask more from those of you who already do so much. Help keep funding for HIV services, including mental health, on your list of priorities. You may be the best hope to get many of us through this chaotic time with the least number of casualties. The leadership of this committee, social services staff, City Council continue to make an incredible difference in West Hollywood that ripples out well beyond our region. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Next up, we have Andy Sacker, followed by Marina Berkman.
Hello, I'm Andy Sacker, Program Manager for WehoWorks, the Career Center right upstairs. JBS SoCal is very grateful to the City of West Hollywood for the opportunity to serve unemployed and underemployed community members. We also enjoy promoting new jobs at West Hollywood businesses on a weekly basis. I'm happy to report that this year we have achieved so far 100% of our placement goals, and in a few cases helped clients avoid homelessness. A challenge we and many other service providers face is job retention within our own organization. In our contract, we choose to split a single FTE for career coach into 2 half-time positions. This is being done to, 1, increase the diversity of our staff, and 2, to stagger the gaps when there is someone that leaves our program. This strategy has proven to be effective, especially for our clients. However, employers like JVS SoCal are not required to provide health benefits to part-time staff. I respectfully ask the Commission and City staff to consider requiring service providers, all service providers, to offer all employees, including part-time workers, access to some type of group benefit plan. These are much less expensive than individual health insurance plans and would greatly incentivize the retention of all employees. Thank you for considering this option for our future.
Thank you, Andy. Next up, Marina Berkman, followed by Tamara Gurovich.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Marina Berkman, and I'm the director of West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center Program of Jewish Family Service. I don't think I need to talk a lot about our services. They are well known to community members, you commissioners, the staff, and what an important role we play by providing services, which are called comprehensive. That's the name of our center, and that's the reflection of what we can do. Whenever someone comes in with one request for a service, we assess for all the needs that that person might have. And from our observations in the recent past, more and more people need eviction protection. And we can be like a focal point for such people who run, deficit in their funds and they cannot pay rent, or their apartments are hoarded and they need assistance with cleaning them. Whatever the reason might be, we are there to help them. And we think that eviction protection is one of the priorities in future funding. Another important thing to prevent early institutionalization of older adults, to make sure that they can age in place, is home care. And you know that the rates went up, hourly rates for home care. And the funds that we receive from, very generous funds from the city of West Hollywood, unfortunately need to be increased so we can meet the needs of people who do not qualify for government benefits, but who really need it. And then, of course, enrichment and making their lives fulfilling. The activities that John Allenford talked before would be a great addition to those who are still capable of coming to our center.
Thank you, Marina.
Thank you.
Appreciate
and
it.
I'll stay here because the next person who is scheduled to speak, she will need my translation.
Excellent. All right, then Tamara. And next up will be Renee Sotil.
I speak Russian. Я хочу сказать, что я представляю большую группу людей, живущих в Вест-Холливуде, и людей, которые счастливы, что живут в Вест-Холливуде. И одна из причин того, что они счастливы, что существует такая организация West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center, который помогает людям, самым, во-первых, пожилым людям, во-вторых, многие из них не знают языка и не знают, многого не знают. И им приходится помогать во всем. И существует целая команда очень профессиональных социальных работников, которые с большой теплотой относятся ко всем людям и делают все необходимое и в проблемах и здоровья, и в отношениях с различными организациями. Очень много вопросов. Они получают ответы на эти вопросы, и поэтому счастливы.
Okay, Tamara was talking about that she is a West Hollywood resident and she is a happy resident of the city of West Hollywood. Why? Because the city so generously funds West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center, where caring and knowledgeable social workers made everything possible to make the lives of seniors and those who don't speak English possible in West Hollywood. That they are she talked about social workers who are warm, supportive, caring, and that they take care of all their needs. They connect them to all the resources so their health and wellness and security are taken care of. I hope I remembered everything she said.
Thank you so much. Spasiba, yeah. Thank you. Renee? followed by Helen Henson.
Yeah, how do I follow that, right? Renee Sotil, longtime resident, and I have 3 suggestions, and and you guys have tons of great stuff. So these are 3 things that I didn't see offered anywhere. And one is a handy person or day laborer for seniors or disabled. There's just nothing like that, and so many people, residents on my street and myself, we look for that, and there's either they're really high expensive or they don't know where to get them. And I recently contacted an ad I saw on, West Hollywood saying, I do my grandmother's handiwork, call me. And he was $75 to $100 an hour. And I'm not talking about for skilled labor. I'm literally talking about like changing smoke detector batteries, caulking around the sink, replace weather stripping, repotting plants, just things like that where seniors for sure, and really need that service, and there's really nothing like that. So it'd be really awesome if there was some kind of service, handy person service. Okay, so number 2 is low-cost service for pets that are ill. I know a lot of people, not a lot, but some, they don't take their pets to the vets because they can't afford it. They don't have the credit cards, and the pets are suffering. And the park does offer once in a while vaccines, but they still charge $10, $20, $30 a pet, and that adds up if you have more than one, or even that $30 is a hardship for some people. So I would say if that could be for free and then offer more wellness would be like amazing. And third, the most important is to start a foster program for kittens and friendlies, because a lot of, it's kitten season coming up. There's a lot of, kittens that we're going to be rescuing. They have nowhere to go. We're coming across roommates who are being evicted or moving out and leaving their friendly cats, and there's nowhere to put them, and we don't want them to go to shelters. And I'm talking about within West Hollywood. So if there was like a foster system where we could encourage people to foster, maybe give them a starter kit of food and everything, that would be like really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Helen Henson, followed by Alexandra McGowan.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be before you. After reading the history of West Hollywood, it's tremendous what you've done. I'm here to talk about the transportation for the seniors with the access, the dollar ride for West Hollywood, and the commuter link. The commuter link is during the business hours of 3 and 5 are running around, money's being wasted. No one picking no one up. There's no one there. I experienced that today. Dial a ride, you have your persons answering the phones and mistreating the residents. You have the people that answer the customer service for Access, another nonprofit that gets money, government grants, mistreating the people of West Hollywood. May we have a direct number to call you instead of calling their customer service and making complaints, and please consider giving those grants to the residents first here in West Hollywood, because the others that come in here, they can't appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Alexandra McGowan. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
My name is Alexandra Magallon, a resident of the city of West Hollywood at 8899 Beverly Boulevard, the Associate Director of Programs and Services of the Trans-Latino Coalition. As a member of the LGBT community who is being impacted by the current administration, I would like to advocate for ongoing and increased funding for LGBT social services programming that ensures LGBT housing, workforce development, and HIV-related services to continue. More and more, it seems that innovative strategies to continue to provide our communities with progress are rooted with providing our communities with the most basic needs. Our current government administration is stripping away funding from the most basic resources available for our communities, which include housing, workforce development, and HIV-related social services. That is why I am here today to advocate for continued and increased funding to the current social services programming being provided by the City of West Hollywood, the city that I am very proud to call home, as it was a lifeline of access when I most needed it as a trans youth, and now that I am the Associate Director of Programs and Services of the Trans Latino Coalition, I am able to provide these vital services to my own community, bringing me full circle from a client to a provider. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexandra. Next up, Bambi Salcedo, followed by Joe Green.
Greetings, good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. My name is Bambi Salcedo, and I do have the privilege and the honor to be the president and the CEO of the Trans Latino Coalition, which is now the biggest trans-led organization in the United States. We are an organization that caters to the specific needs of transgender, expansive, and intersex communities. As you know, we are funded by the City of West Hollywood to provide these critical services to our community, and now more than ever, as my colleague Alexandra said, it's important that this committee really responds to the specific need of our community. And I hope that you can advocate and allocate the very much needed resources for trans people who are in the City of West Hollywood that are supported by our organization. Through the 6 years that we have been funded by the City of West Hollywood, we have been able to provide and support members of our community in this city, and to place them in jobs, to place them in drug treatment centers, to place them in housing, to place them in different critical services that they need. As you know, right now, the trans community is a political target, and our organization is losing funding. We receive funding 3 different programs directly from the federal government that are ending this year, and we need to subsidize some of those supportive services for our community. So I am asking today for all of you to use your might and your power to ensure that our community continues to be supported the way they need to be supported, especially now in these critical times. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Bambi. Joe Green, followed by John Baumgartner.
Hello again, everyone. My first comment would be I completely support what Bambi said. That would be one of the 3 areas of interest that I think needs to be addressed. We already know that last night the City Council had a resolution opposing cuts to HIV prevention and treatment programs worldwide. We know that's happening already. In June, if Ryan White gets gutted, that's tens of millions of dollars. So I would caution you to think about these priorities in 2 parts maybe, like now, what's happening right now, and all the agencies that are in the room, they're facing cuts. They're already cutting people. So that's APLA and Alliance and Being Alive in the LGBTQ+ Center. We have to help them, and I don't know exactly what you all can do to supplement or to replace the programs that are going to be cut, but try to think outside the box. I think that's it, but again, it would be the trans community, the disabled and HIV, and of course, the aging. So thank you for your time and appreciate your support.
Thank you, Joe. John Baumgartner, followed by Mike Dyer.
Hello. My name is John Baumgartner, and I am the dad of 2 girls, Trudy and Sylvia. Trudy's 4 and Sylvia's 8 months old. And I've lived in West Hollywood for over 20 years. Trudy is currently enrolled at the West Hollywood Preschool and has been in the program since she was 2.5, all the way from when she was in the Sunshine to the All-Star classrooms. Trudy was born during COVID, and since I work freelance in entertainment, all of my jobs completely dried up. Childcare is exceedingly expensive, and trying to find a program to help us while I was on the job search when my wife was also working full-time was exceedingly stressful. Childcare typically costs around $20,000 a year. When Trudy was a toddler, we would visit Plummer Park almost every day, and when we saw the sign go up informing us that enrollment starts at 2.5, we were so excited to meet with Miss Adalia, and we were ecstatic to be able to take part in this amazing school. Although Trudy was a sobbing puddle of tears when we first had to drop her off at the preschool, she was quickly integrated through the caring work of the teachers and staff. I still get a little tired. It hit me hard that day as a dad. These teachers know what they're doing. Integrating so many kids is no doubt a difficult task, especially in our neighborhood. East-West Hollywood is especially multicultural and multilingual. I count 10 native languages spoken at the school: English, Spanish, Russian, Uzbek, Tajik, Ukrainian, Tagalog, Portuguese, French, and German, and probably more. And these amazing teachers bring them all in to create a sense of community, not just in the classroom, but beyond, as the parents and the school the parents have become my friends in East-West Hollywood, and some of them are here tonight. Sorry, I'm crying. You know, I feel strongly about this. The teachers are outstanding and integrate the parents into their programming, whether it's field trips to the library, the fire station, the school garden, or even tennis lessons. My daughter always comes back with stories of the adventures that she has been on. And I know through these experiences, she is growing to become a more curious and well-rounded young person with a greater appreciation of the vast diversity of hardworking people in our community.
No, John, thank you so much.
I hope that they can expand, and I hope you continue your support of them. I had more to write, but I ended up crying too much. So.
Thank you. Mike Dyer, followed by Eduardo Tejeda.
Hello, everyone. My name is Damon Akins. We represent Housing Works. Excuse me. Unfortunately, my colleague Mike Dyer is not here, so we'll represent him well. I'm going to introduce Eduardo Tejada.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Eduardo Tejada. I am a frontline social worker and intensive case manager at Housing Works, a nonprofit company who battles against homelessness. Although we cannot put a price on the true value of another human being, we can observe how valuable they are in the lives of others. Frontline workers in our sector have been and will continue to be a lifeline for many in the communities we serve. The relationships that we foster and cultivate with our participants extend beyond contracts, deliverables, and what we can quantify for funding processes. This work is of value to us and those that we are serving. But my question is, what is the value to our funders? If the answer to that question is reflecting upon our wages we are paid, then it is painfully clear that this work is indeed of little concern to those who are in the position to implement equitable approaches to supporting those who are doing the work in the trenches. West Hollywood's unapologetic creativity and diversity has the opportunity to become a leader in the battle against homelessness. As a former security ambassador and now an intensive case manager who continues to serve the unhoused and previously unhoused trans and gay community, one of the most vulnerable members of the community, have faith the city of West Hollywood will consider the wages of frontline workers such as myself and my fellow intensive case managers and social workers. Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you to the community of West Hollywood. I yield.
Thank you so much.
As a supervisor at Housing Works with Eduardo Tejada, I'm here on behalf of the team of frontline workers I supervise. The best practices that frontline workers are expected to implement: harm reduction, trauma-informed principles, motivational interviewing, should not only apply to those we serve, but also to those who work in the sector on behalf and in support of those we serve. The fact is, we are the same people that we serve. Just like them, we are navigating ways of dealing with trauma, addiction, mental health, and other challenges. Many of my colleagues are just one paycheck away from not having a place to live themselves. Some of us are currently, as we speak, truly experiencing homelessness, but we still show up for others on a daily basis. At what point will frontline workers be given a livable wage that allows them to not be in survival mode? When it's our job to empower others who are also in survival mode. This forces a person to question the reality of the expectations placed upon workers as it is dictated by funders and funding resources. Being in survival mode like we are a lot of times is very stressful. It triggers us and it also stagnates our work. It's hard to ignore the fact that some of us do not at times have the capacity or bandwidth to honestly practice what we preach as a sector. And unfortunately, those who we serve are caught in the middle and vulnerable to potentially harmful ways of being served. I want to just take time to thank Maribel. Our relationship with West Hollywood has been amazing for me. I've only been at Housing Works for about a little bit more than a year, and it has been an absolute pleasure, some of the things that I've seen, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Maria de Jesus Gomez, followed by Damon Akins. Oh, that was you. We're good. Thank you, Damon. Maria.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Maria de Jesus Gomez, and I am here on behalf of Housing Works to comment on Agenda Item 3A. We dedicate our time, energy, and resources to those who need it the most, individuals who are unhoused and who are fighting to break free from cycles of despair. What happens when we, as service providers, are also struggling with our own personal hardships? How do we offer care, compassion, and solutions when we ourselves barely keeping it together? We take on the weight of others' pain and stories, often without the time or space to process our own. The emotional toll can be immense as we witness the same cycles of hardships that mirror our own struggles. We are expected to provide empathy, understanding, yet in moments of personal crisis, we often find that there is little room for our own needs or mental health. We can't give what we don't have. We need support too. We need to be seen, to be heard, and to be allowed the space to heal ourselves so we can continue to offer compassion and care that is so desperately needed in our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. Next up, we have Selena Alvarez, followed by Scorpio.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Selena Alvarez, and I'm the Executive Director at Housing Works. Getting people off the streets and into housing for good is becoming increasingly challenging. Folks' needs have evolved and are becoming more complex. The workforce in homeless services is roughly made up of 8,000 workers with about 1,400 vacant positions at any given time, and for which 1,600 new positions need to be created to meet optimal capacity. This workforce is made up of a diverse group of kind, compassionate, heart-driven people with an array of skills and experience in this work, including many with transferable skills, varying degrees of academic credentials and background, and rich life experience. Housing Works has lived and breathed a person-centered approach grounded in harm reduction, housing first, and trauma-informed principles. And yet, our service provision has moved into a new era. The sector is stagnant in its approach to service delivery, and I would argue has quickly regressed to a more conventional and traditional model of case management. It's very linear, mostly because we have to, due to contractual demands, data, and deliverables. The workforce is not provided space, time, and resources, and we want to learn, practice, and be coached in the real-life fields they clock into daily. Frontline workers are the domestic workers of homeless services. They have complex needs requiring attention and resources for which they have little to no support, constantly in survival mode, just barely making it. There are so many moving parts to this conversation. Workforce support, coaching, and wellness is one part, while systems, processes, and policies, and available stock of resources equipped to meet varying needs is another. Thank you.
Thank you, Selena.
Celine.
Scorpio, followed by Maria Roman Taylorson.
Hi there, everybody. I want to talk mostly about the great lunch program we got going at West Knoll Drive. The food is served kosher, always, all the time, and when we had the COVID business, the facilities were condensed. They delivered meals for 7 days, for 7 meals every day, and they just kept us all eating very nicely. And it was a wonderful, the food program is great, and we get a lot of, talk with a lot of people, get to meet a lot of people, and it's just wonderful to have a program just for food, which is something everybody wants. And I want food too. Meow.
Thank you. Thank you, Scorpio. Next up, Maria Roman Taylorson, followed by Andrew Solomon.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Maria Roman. I am fortunate to be the Vice President and Chief Operations Officer for the Trans-Latino Coalition, one of the leading organizations in the United States. Today, I stand before you to highlight the powerful alliance that has truly transformed lives in the partnership between the Trans-Latino Coalition and the City of West Hollywood. This collaborative relationship has served as an example of true investment in the future of trans people. Our partnership has been instrumental in providing TGI people with vocational scholarships, workforce development opportunities, and wraparound social services, including emergency and transitional housing. It has equipped TGI people with the skills and confidence necessary to enter the workforce, creating pathways to economic independence and personal dignity. This partnership has been an essential step in dismantling the cycle of poverty and isolation that affect TGI people. However, these efforts required ongoing commitment and resources. There must be a sustained investment. Our continued partnership is critical in maintaining and expanding current resources for TGI people within the City of West Hollywood. And let us also celebrate the incredible progress made through this partnership. Let us reaffirm our commitment to stand together in recognizing the worth of TGI people. Together we can create a more inclusive, equitable, and loving community where all individuals, regardless of their gender identity or expressions, can live authentically and fully and have the resources necessary to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Andrew Solomon, followed by David Nash.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Andrew Solomon. I'm a West Hollywood resident and parent. I would love to be a Pathways parent, but there's no room for my family. I'm urging the city to expand our child care services. Right now, West Hollywood lags significantly behind neighboring cities. If we look at Beverly Hills, they operate their own city-run preschool. Culver City and Santa Monica offer full daycare through their school districts with subsidized tuition. Burbank provides fully state-funded preschool for low-income families. All of these cities offer more than we do and understand that childcare is essential for working families. As you've heard, we have an excellent Pathways school at Plummer Park, but it only serves 32 children, and it's limited to only those families who meet low-income thresholds. The rest of us have to scour the market for private, costly options. But yet we have space in the city. As a former public facilities commissioner, I can tell you we have plenty of vacant space in our park buildings. Great Hall, Long Hall, Fiesta Hall, the Kings Road Park building. There's even empty rooms in our brand new aquatic center. Not to mention the city-owned commercial properties we own that are vacant. We just need some funding and some political will to make it happen. This isn't about convenience, it's about equity. The lack of affordable preschool is a major driver of the gender pay gap. Without it, many mothers can't return to work, stalling careers and deepening economic inequality. West Hollywood leads on human services. Let's extend that leadership to our children too. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. David Nash, followed by Bob Lester.
David Nash, 26 years of residency in West Hollywood, and I'd like to thank your commission and staff throughout the city for making my life to continue to grow in quality and substance here in the city. There are so many programs that have been brought to my attention that I've been able to take advantage of that honestly, through the pandemic, my quality of life just continued to inch up and get better and better. I'd like to thank Yola DeRay from the Disability Advisory Board for speaking so well early tonight. I think she echoed what many feel about the shrinking world from Washington, D.C., and we even see our boards and commissions being shrunk here in West Hollywood. I know you all like to spend money. I like to have money spent on me. But only here in West Hollywood do I feel that support. And now, while so many are shrinking the world of benefits, we need more than ever to make sure we're taking care of people's health, taking care of people's living, taking care of all their basic needs. A few organizations that have been instrumental to me include Disability Community Resource Center, DCRC, and many things that they brought into my home to make it more livable, to make the internet accessible. I'd like to also thank APLA, who for the first time has brought a food bank into West Hollywood. The city may need to continue supporting them. They had a $100 a month gift card program that just ran out of funding. Other groups, Being Alive, Jewish Family Services, in so many ways. I've heard about the possibility of shrinking. We must do more for people of West Hollywood, not less. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Bob Lester, followed by Mikey Friedman.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. My name is Rob Lester. I've been a resident of the city of West Hollywood for 14 years now. I also lead the public programs department at Men's Health Foundation. My colleague Joe Green, worked with him on the commission before for a while. He alluded earlier to the impending lack of resources.
Please speak into the microphone.
Sorry. Thank you. The Trump administration has made a lot of very unfortunate cuts, including to CDC. The HIV Prevention Bureau is probably gone. We don't know. The HIV Prevention Bureau and the CDC funds the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, the Division of HIV and STD Programming, which funds a lot of local agencies for a variety of HIV prevention services. As you know, PrEP and PEP, or HIV Prevention Services, biomedical prevention, they're some of the most effective methodologies we have for preventing HIV. We at Men's Health Foundation expect we're going to lose some of that funding. We have a long partnership with the city of West Hollywood, and I hope that we will continue to do that. Your continued support is vital to our ability to continue to provide PrEP and PEP navigation services to residents of the city of West Hollywood.
Thank you, Bob. Mikey Friedman, followed by Stacy Dean.
Good evening, Human Services Commission. You are my favorite commission, and I think everybody's here also, because you really help people more than any other commission does, in my opinion. And you've helped me so much that I'm not asking for money. I know these people need it. I wish you could give it to everybody, but they've given so much to me, and I want to particularly talk about Jewish Family Services that have made my life as an aging in place, senior disabled person better. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I get a phone call to make sure I'm alive. And I have a social worker named Sharon who constantly checks in on me to make sure I'm okay. And they got me a SNAP EBT card. Anyway, they're wonderful. And then there's another one that is not as well known. It's called DCRC, and they're the Disabled Community Resource Center. I fell. I have one arm, as you can see. I'm what they call a 4-quarter amputee. It's the rarest of amputations. And I also have 2 artificial knees that are very old and not working, and half a lung. And my balance is very poor, and they got me bed rails for my bed because I fell, and they got me a pendant to wear in my apartment because I fell again, and they got me roll-out shelves so that I can access things and still cook. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you how much I love what you're doing and love what all of them are doing, and just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Stacy Dean, followed by Farah Fang.
Hello, my name is Stacy Dean, and I am the True Program Coordinator for the Trans-Latina Coalition. Despite the vital work of the True Program, unmet needs persist within our transgender, gender nonconforming, and intersex community. This isn't a reflection of the lack of effort, but rather a testament to the multifaceted challenges our community faces and the ever-evolving landscape. Why do these gaps remain? It is often a confluence of factors. Funding, while crucial, can sometimes fall short of comprehensive support required. Systematic barriers like discrimination in housing and employment create additional hurdles that our programs strive to overcome. Furthermore, the very nature of the individual journey means that needs are diverse and can shift over time, requiring flexible and adaptive support systems. Maintaining our ability to address these unmet needs is not just an act of compassion, it is an investment in the very fabric of our community. The True Program offers a lifeline, connecting individuals with essential medical care, mental health support, safe housing, and pathways to economical stability. These needs are vital in our ability to provide these resources. If not, the consequences are real. Increased vulnerability, isolation, and the weakening of the collective strength. Our commitment to the True Program is a commitment to equity and inclusion. It is about ensuring that every member of our community has the opportunity to thrive, to live with dignity, and to reach their full potential. Let us continue to advocate, to support, and to innovate so that we can strengthen the True Program and move closer to reality. I'm advocating for the funding for the True Program. I am 57 years old, I am married with 3 children, and I have 3 beautiful granddaughters. I am transgendered, and I'm living proof that these systems work. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you. Farah Fang, followed by Winter Rose.
Hi, I came here to advocate for the Trans-Latina Coalition as someone who has received resources from them. My name is Farah Fang. I'm a poet and community organizer from Houston, Texas. I'm a proud trans woman. Despite my success, I'm no stranger to poverty and lacking resources. In fact, I've applied for and received grants from the city of Houston to fund my personal project called The Future is Trans. It's an art exhibition for emerging trans, gender nonconforming, and intersex artists in the city. I will be putting the entire event together while being homeless in this city because I know how important it is to have opportunities like this for my community. I fled Texas because of how unsafe and unsupportive it was getting for trans people. I came to this city knowing that organizations like Trans-Latina Coalition were here to help. Orgas like this don't exist or don't have the same services in Texas. Trans-Latina Coalition helps TGI people from all over. Thanks to them, I've been helped with food, housing stability, and right now they're currently funding my education for me to go to nail school to become financially stable once I graduate. I know that they will continue to help me and other TGI individuals not only to survive, but for our own prosperity. Trans people have always taken care of each other. Trans-Latina Coalition has taken care of me, and I have helped TGI artists in my community and home in Texas. I know with the right support and funding, we all can continue this necessary work for the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farah. Winter Rose, followed by Bill Harrison.
Hi, good evening. My name is Winter Camila Rose, and I'm currently a client of Trans-Latina Coalition. I have a question. What does homeless look like to you? I don't know what a home is. I haven't had a safe space since 2019. I grew up in Burbank. I was raised by a single hardworking mama. My childhood was happy-ish. I grew up privileged and I wanted for nothing. I never won prom queen, but I was voted most likely to be a reality star. If you would have asked me then where I thought I would be by the time I was 32, homeless was not it. I had big dreams, I still do. No one goes into transitioning with the idea that it might not work out. No one transitions preparing to lose friends and family and a roof over your head, but it happens, it happened to me. I've lived in and out of my car, I've slept on this very park, and I found refuge at this library. I've had housing and I've lost it. I came to Trans-Latina Coalition at the end of December 2024. They gave me room, board, and food. Was it ideal? You try living in a house full of hormonal trans women, all trying to be top diva. But it was safe, and it was community. And at least I never went to sleep hungry. And that's why they call it Hope House. Because of Trans-Latina Coalition, I'm now 100 hours away from graduating from nail school. I'm soon to be a licensed nail tech. And while I'm no longer at Hope House, I am in a different housing program designed to provide me my own housing. I see a future that makes me happy. It doesn't include getting kicked out at any given moment or sleeping in cars or having to do sex work to survive. Do I feel like a success story? Not yet, but I'm one step closer. Thank you.
Thank you, Winter. Bill Harrison, followed by Rick Watts.
Hello, thank you, commissioners. Thank you for everything you do. I think it's pretty incredible, this city that we talk about being only 1.9 square miles, but the services we provide are insane. And they need to continue, and we know with this administration, unfortunately, federally, they're going to become more challenging for everyone. Specifically, I wanted to just talk about the unhoused population. And we have so many services that we offer. We have so many incredible organizations doing amazing work. I would just ask this commission to really look closely at how they're funded. Who's the most effective? You know, there's a lot of intersectionality amongst the organizations of the work they're doing. And I think all of us as residents, regardless of whether you're directly involved or in the private sector, renter, homeowner, you're affected by this. And I would just ask that in our funding, which in a blessed world, we could increase by twofold for everything that you all are doing, that we really look at that because it affects every single one of us daily. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Rick Watts, followed by Stephen Trapasso.
Thank you, Chair and board members. Rick Watts, City of West Hollywood. You folks are in a tough position, and I think probably in some ways you may feel an enormous amount of weight upon you. We hear all of this need, and it is real need in this community. You know, a long time ago, Hubert Humphrey, Vice President, said that the moral test of a government is how it treats those who are at the dawn of life, our children, and those who are in the twilight of life, the aged, and those who are in the shadow of life, the sick, and the needy, and the handicapped. You know, no matter how heavy the burdens of excess taxation might seem to those to the haves, I assure you that they cannot compare to the burdens borne daily by those who have not, whether victims of disaster or recession, illness, disability, misfortune, lack of economic opportunity, or education. And for the poor, their constant companions are threats of hunger, homelessness, unemployment, ignorance, lack of opportunity, criminalization, discrimination, and despair. And for the working poor, their daily burden is simply to keep body and soul together, a roof over their heads and shoes on their feet, and to provide food and clothing for their children. And for those who call the streets home after a sleepless night, their consuming struggle all the day is simply to find their next meal or the next night's shelter. I am one of those persons. I'm 40-odd years with HIV/AIDS. Without ADAP, I will probably die. I'm on 14 different medications for that and for a severe form of arthritis that has cost me my sight and kept me on crutches. So you have a lot of demands, and my hat's off to you in whatever you do. And my prayers are with everybody in this room. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Stephen Trapasso, followed by Abigail Sifa-Bokai. Oh.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Trapasso. I am the Executive Director of Seeds of Hope. We are the food justice program of the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles. We've been working in the city of West Hollywood for almost a decade now. I'm here to just ask you for your support for our programs and maybe to expand our programs a little bit. The last RFP, we were told that gardens would be cut from all of our West Hollywood Community Housing Corporation properties. And we have one of our superstar gardeners here today, Anthony, who's in the back of the room, supporting us. His garden at Blue Hibiscus, one of the West Hollywood Community Housing Corporation properties, is amazing. It's a vertical garden, it's on the roof, and whenever we go there, we feel at home. He makes us feel at home, and it would be great to go back there and provide him some support. That's about gardens. What we mainly do in the city of West Hollywood is work at 8 other West Hollywood Community Housing Corporation properties and Plummer Park. We see roughly about 500 people every single week, and that has grown from 11 when we started this program to about 500 every week. And so we have a gaggle of supporters here today. They can all... Yeah, so I'm just here asking for your support because we spend about, we have about 5 staff every week here in West Hollywood, and you all pay for 2. So that's why I'm here, asking for your support. Thank you all.
Thank you, Steve. Abigail. And Abigail, I'm so sorry. Will you pronounce your last name for me?
It's Sifa-Boachi.
Totally butchered it. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Thank you.
You did great. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Abigail Sifa-Boachi. I'm a parent of a 3-year-old boy enrolled at West Hollywood Preschool. His name is Israel. I'm an immigrant, a single mother, and a domestic violence survivor. I am very grateful for the Pathways LA program that serves our community because I am self-employed. And since enrolling my son, I have been able to market, follow leads, and grow my business. I am now able to provide for my son and I. I would like to see the Pathways LA program grow so that it can serve our community in a more profound way by helping parents return to work, grow their businesses, and provide for their families. My son has thrived tremendously since enrolling in the program. I see him growing socio-emotionally and cognitively. He has friends and cannot stop talking about his teachers. The teachers are patient, loving, caring, and kind, and genuinely enjoy what they do and love our children. I would like to see the program expand to help our community of mothers, fathers, and grandparents receive free child care so that they can work and take care of their families. Children are our future. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. Next up, we have Michael McFadden, followed by Marisol Alfaro.
Hello, my name is Michael McFadden. I'm the Assistant Director of Senior Services at the LA LGBT Center. First and foremost, we just want to say thank you. The incredible support that the City of West Hollywood has provided us over the last years it allows us to provide the services and support that we do to our community. So definitely want to say thank you first and foremost. The work that we do is vital. The centerpiece of some of the work that we do is providing a congregate meal each day. Warm or hot, nutritious and delicious meals Monday through Friday to upwards of around 200 seniors each day. And it's much more than a meal. Obviously, it provides folks with the nutritional and basic needs that they may have, but it's also a really important opportunity for folks to come together and connect. And what happens around the lunchroom table is pretty incredible. I'm often amazed at some of the connections that get made, the friendships that get made, and then the relationships that get fostered afterwards. It's pretty remarkable. I feel very lucky to get to be a part of it each day. And as we know, social isolation and loneliness is a really powerful and debilitating impact to our older adults. And this opportunity to come together is really critical. The needs of our seniors, I think, what we've seen folks coming through our doors is the needs of our seniors are increasingly getting more and more complicated and complex. And as many folks have shared earlier today, there's a lot of threats to those benefits and supports. And so now the support for the senior services is needed even more. And so, again, thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you're doing. You don't have an easy job in disseminating this funding, but appreciate your support and would request continued funding in the future. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Michael. Marisol, followed by David Crosscall.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Marisol Alfaro. I am the Associate Director of Housing and Training over at the Senior Services Department at the LA LGBT Center. I just want to echo exactly what my coworker Michael just said, but I also want to add to it because I oversee our housing navigation team and housing stabilization team, which makes up about 5 folks, but really I want to talk about our housing navigators. We only have 2 individuals currently funded for the position, but they provide more than 150 clients being served in West Hollywood alone. And to highlight some of the impact of the work that they do, I want to share a story about Marvin, who was recently housed, but was a long-term resident of West Hollywood for more than 30 years, being a caregiver to his older adult mother who recently passed away due to complications of cancer. So that to afford the housing that he was at. So unfortunately, he was unhoused in the streets of West Hollywood. He came to us. Thankfully, we were able to connect with some of our service providers at work with the city as well to find him a temporary housing solution for 30 days, which gave our housing navigation team a bit more time to find a permanent solution. And thankfully, as of April 1st, we were able to secure him a permanent housing in the city of Hollywood, which obviously it's not West Hollywood, but we see that as the impact of the work that this funding does for our clients that are LGBT or allies alike. So thank you for your time, and I hope you consider expanding and supporting our services. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisol. David Crosscall, followed by Jonathan Wilson, and then we'll close with the speaker that we have on Zoom.
Good evening, commission members and city staff. Always great to see you. And thank you, as always, for your generous funding and support. So I'm David Crosscall, the Community Program Manager at Disability Community Resource Center, Independent Living Center. Through our contract with the City of West Hollywood, we've been providing a wide array of independent living services to West Hollywood community members for over 8 years. Some of our key services include peer support, advocacy, independent living skills training, home modifications, benefits assistance, assistive technology, and transition services. All of our members have either a physical and/or emotional disability, and a large percentage have multiple disabilities. A great majority of our members are very low income. We are seeing an increased number of members who require transition services. You say, what are transition services? DCRC provides services that facilitate transition to home from institutions such as hospitals, nursing homes, rehabilitation centers, and skilled nursing centers. We had a woman who was a candidate for transition services. She fell at a Smart Final. She ended up either in a hospital, assisted living, rehab, or skilled nursing for 6 months. And we were able to purchase a stair lift and a chair lift for her, and she's 92, lives alone, and she's doing wonderful. DCRC receives a total of $8,000 per year to provide home modifications through our Home Secure program, a program that provides a variety of important home modifications to keep residents safer in their homes, such as grab bars, safety equipment, chair lifts, walkers, et cetera. Challenges. We are currently encountering major challenges in providing home modifications to members that need them the most, based on the assessments and evaluations conducted by our occupational therapists. The OT will make strong recommendations for accessibility and safety equipment. However, our funding constraints prevent us from providing certain items. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jonathan Wilson.
Hey, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I do want to say that as someone who had committed to harming themselves and also couldn't afford to put food on the table for myself even, I do want to say, please, give money to the LA LGBTQ Center. The other piece too, I do want to say there's something that we need to do about fighting for what we believe is important as West Hollywood and putting exclamation points and period points after our values. With that said, I do believe there are a few things. One, we do need to start taking note of, in the RFP process, of how much federal funding is going to each of the various human resources nonprofits that are coming out. We also need to help them also get their moment out there around DEI initiatives, and let's ask them about what their DEI initiatives are or have been in the past, just so we can double click on we support that. The other piece I want to say too is the Nonprofit Enablement Center. I do think there is something to be said about having an enablement center to allow these nonprofits to have a place to go where they can get additional grant writing expertise, they can get additional people that can assist them with their operations, things that maybe might be something that they would otherwise have to pay for, but enable them through things that are not going to cost them money. Because right now it's about lifting them up, and we're about to hit a really big desert of care. Barriers to care are just going to increase, and that's what we're facing going forward. Again, I thank you for all of your efforts, and now is the time for you. So thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. And Amy, do we still have a speaker on Zoom?
Yes, we do. If you can hear me, please go ahead and dial in *6 to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes. For our caller in Zoom, if you wish to speak now, please press *6 to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes. Moving on, Chair.
All right, thank you. And unless there are any other speakers for this section, I think we are done with our public hearing on social services priorities. I want to thank everybody who spoke today and shared. Really appreciate your comments. Next up is new business, so we're going to move into a discussion on social services funding priorities. I'm going to pass it over to Dee and Michelle.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, members of the public. You all are a very tough act to follow. So thank you very much. I'm Dee Saunders, joined with my amazing colleague, Michelle Lieberman, and we are 2 of the Social Services Program Administrators in the city's Human Services Division. Tonight, we are presenting on the input from the city's advisory boards and commissions on social services funding priorities. Let me just make sure I'm clicking ahead. Between January and March, staff from the Human Services Division gathered critical input to help guide our city's social services funding priorities. As you see, we met with 8 commissions and advisory boards. And it is important to note that staff attempted to connect with the Transgender Advisory Board during their February and March meetings. Unfortunately, both of these meetings were canceled due to a lack of quorum. To ensure their voices were still heard, staff invited board members to attend the public hearing and share their input as community members. At each meeting, 3 guiding questions were posed to spark meaningful discussion. These questions help identify unmet needs, current barriers to accessing services, and what services would be prioritized if additional resources were available. Responses to questions 1 and 3 were grouped together to identify community priorities, while answers to question 2 were reviewed separately to highlight specific barriers to accessing services. To support an inclusive and data-driven approach to shaping our funding recommendations, we followed a clear and structured method for collecting and analyzing input from our advisory boards and commissions. This 5-step process helped us to stay transparent, consistent, and accurate in identifying community needs and barriers, and in organizing them into shared services categories. We synthesized the data by first transcribing responses from community meetings, and then we summarized those notes for review and validation. We tracked responses by question in a spreadsheet, and then mapped those responses to social services categories, and finally, identifying core services through thematic analysis. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle to delve into what those key themes looked like.
Thank you so much, Dee, and hello, commissioners, everyone here from the public. So from all the feedback gathered, 5 key themes clearly rose to the top, reflecting the shared priorities across our boards and commissions. We'll walk through each of these in the next 5 slides. So kicking things off with health and wellness, this category includes a wide range of services that support physical, mental, and emotional well-being. We're talking about counseling, crisis support, trauma-informed therapy, harm reduction, including substance use treatment and overdose prevention strategies, food and nutrition, such as meal delivery programs, food pantries, food banks that continue to help fight insecurity, food insecurity, healthcare access, HIV, STI prevention and treatment, aging and disability support, including in-home care, accessible transportation, emergency planning, and help navigating benefits, and of course, case management. Next, we're moving into homelessness. These programs are designed to support unhoused individuals and prevent homelessness with things such as emergency and transitional shelters, supportive services such as mental health care and substance use treatment, and prevention efforts to outreach at-risk groups, including youth aging out of foster care. Moving on to legal and advocacy, these services ensure people can understand their rights, access justice, and navigate complex systems with the assist of legal advice and counsel, such as Know Your Rights clinics and helping with applications and forms, representation of pro bono or sliding scale support for hearings, appeals, and legal issues, policy advocacy, empowering community members to speak up and shape policies that impact them, immigrant and asylum support, tenants' rights, LGBTQ plus protections such as gender-affirming support and advocacy for inclusive, non-discriminatory laws. Another key focus area is economic empowerment. These services are designed to strengthen financial security and open long-term opportunities, with programming such as guaranteed income, providing direct cash support to reduce poverty and improve financial stability, workforce development, offering job training, employment support, and career pathways, and rental assistance, helping households maintain stable housing during financial challenges. And finally, we'll close this section with community connection. This priority centers on building inclusion, engagement, and belonging. With centralized drop-in centers, a common request across boards and commissions for easier access to multiple services, targeted outreach, especially to marginalized and underserved groups, multilingual support, ensuring all community members can engage in access services, and combating isolation through programming that foster connections, particularly for older adults, people with disabilities, and other vulnerable populations. Now, we know that was a lot to take in, and your appointed officials aren't done yet. Next, we'll look at the barriers that prevent people from accessing these services. We'll break these down into the next 3 slides. Starting off with outreach and awareness. To put it simply, people can't use services that they don't know exist. Across the boards, appointed officials said people are unaware of what's available. Communication can be limited or might be inconsistent, and there's a clear need to improve and diversify how we advertise and share information. The second barrier is service access and navigation. This is about how easily someone can reach, understand, and move through the social service system. Some challenges include staff retention, which high turnover disrupts service consistency. Technology gaps, lack of internet or tech skills create access issues. Language barriers, leaving non-English speakers disconnected. Difficulty reaching providers suggests a need for more navigators or advocates, and a call for a centralized hub, as we've heard many times before, a one-stop shop for service referrals, document submission, and support. And finally, equity and inclusion. This refers to the initial design of systems so that all individuals, regardless of background, identity, or circumstances, have meaningful access and can fully benefit from services. Barriers to equity include non-inclusive shelter environments that fail to support transgender individuals, limited support for marginalized groups such as LGBTQ+ community members and people with disabilities, and a lack of staff with lived experience, which can make it harder for community members to build trust and feel understood. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Dee to walk us through the additional services requests.
Thank you. Okay, so we've covered the common themes across the boards and commissions, many of which, thankfully, already align with funded services that we already have in some capacity. Now let's take a look at some additional needs that have been identified. These new priorities include animal services, like veterinary care and pet support, especially for our unhoused individuals, mobile showers, providing hygiene access for people without stable housing, and unrestricted cash assistance, which is just direct financial support for community members in need. Before we close, we would like to share, if anyone is interested in reading about the funding priorities identified by the advisory boards or commissions that were referenced here tonight, please refer to the complete agenda packet for tonight's meeting. There is an attachment to this item that includes this information. And as a reminder to members of the public in attendance and those online, Human Services staff is available in person and by phone Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 5 p.m. Oh, not 5 a.m. Please don't come looking for us at 5 a.m. 5 p.m. on Fridays at City Hall. This concludes our presentation on the input from the city's advisory boards and commissions on social services funding priorities. Thank you again to our Human Services Commission for your time, and we will now turn it over to you, Derek.
Thank you so much, Dee and Michelle. So the Human Services Commission has now heard from members of the public and from the city advisory boards and commissions. So it's now time for the commission to reflect on what you've heard tonight and discuss the funding priorities that staff will incorporate into the final RFP document. So the discussion you'll have tonight will guide the procurement process for this next contract cycle. So I'll hand this over to you, Chair.
Great, thank you, Derek, and thank you, Dee and Michelle, for that great presentation. I do want to see if my fellow commissioners are open to taking a few minutes before we dive into the discussion. Are we okay with that? If we can just take like a 5-minute break, that would be great. Thank you. We ready to bring it back? Huh? Oh, we are missing Sam.
He may be in the restroom.
Yeah. All right, folks, if you can have a seat, we're going to resume our meeting tonight.
If you could all please go back to your seats, we're going to start the meeting. Thank you, thank you.
Excellent. And we did have 2 public comments. I don't know if those speakers are still here. Helen Henson or Renee Sotil. Great. Helen, thank you.
Thank you. I want to summarize here. When I was talking about the transportation for the seniors, the dial-a-ride, it cuts off. If you want to dial a ride to come here to the council meetings, the time limit shuts off. We can't. Seniors can't come here. The DCRC, please fund them because I am a living witness. They have helped me. Please fund them. Their IT, AI technology is not funded right now. They need the funds. So dial-a-ride, and have a community, maybe dial-a-ride seniors only. Dial-a-ride, that commuter shuttle, seniors only, so that we can get here to the, I had to pay access tonight. I had to pay access to come here, and I had to, because the commuter link doesn't even go to City Hall. Okay. So your transportations, and please set up seniors only transportation, and you'll have this place full. Okay, and get this out to the, I don't know how you're gonna get it to the apartment managers and tell the apartment managers, oh, one thing, and you've got the hookup. To raise some money, we gotta start raising money too. The audience, I looked at Kate Hudson's show. They will pay. You get enough people in these talk shows, in the audience, they'll pay. So we need to start raising some money also. Thank you. Not always give me. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. And is Renee still here? All right, then we will move into discussion. Would anyone like to start? All right.
We need more money. Thank you all for participating. Thank you, staff, for the time you spent to visit the advisory boards and other commissions to get that feedback. I think I learned a few things along the way. I think we got more feedback and new input and ideas that we hadn't considered before or hadn't heard before. So I think it's really, as I was going through this today, earlier today, for the second time, so it could be fresh in my mind, there are a lot of areas in this proposal feedback from our colleagues which were really helpful for us to keep in mind as we move through this process. One of the things that still makes me so sad is the unaware component. As a PR person who wears that hat in everything we do, it's a little sad to me that our colleagues on advisory boards and commissions don't know all the services available in the city. So I know we all have a chance to, so I'll try to be brief. I think one thing that I'd like to talk about as we move through this process, maybe now, maybe in the future, is a lot of concern about federal programs being already cut and in the future being cut. And I wonder if we could have, at least through this process, consider a different way to look at our microgrants program and how that might be helpful as organizations face these cuts going forward. One of our speakers mentioned there's some things happening now and some things happening later. And my first thought is maybe we can find a way to request from the city as it's going through its budget system to put some money aside specifically to react quickly to when our service providers are dealing with these things. The second thing that came up is the livable wage, and I know that the city does require our providers to have what is deemed a livable wage, but it's not really a livable wage. Let's be real. The city has touted we have one of the highest minimum wages in the country, which is great, and more cities need to be like us. However, if you do the math, it's $40,000 a year. Most people can't live on $40,000 a year in greater Los Angeles. So I do hope and wish that we would think about that as we move through this process. The other thing I heard, and I deal with this in my day job with my colleagues who are the frontline workers, is support for the providers. And I don't know how we can do that with so many different areas of reach, from amazing childcare. Martha, I love reading your reports with Pathways. But I think that maybe there's a way to, at my company, we had a thing called Group Soup, where the providers had an hour a month to just talk about the things that's challenging them, and their colleagues were able to offer some advice or other ways to do things. And it was led by a professional social worker. In general, and I think you'll all nod your heads, staff is stretched. Frontline workers are stretched. Our city staff is stretched and understaffed right now. That probably isn't going to change over the next 3 years in general. So I think we'll have to give our providers a little wiggle room and leeway. And in the past, we've really been frustrated when there have been staff shortages, but I think we can expect those moving forward through this process. And if there's anything that we can do to help mitigate that, I think is really important. And then the last in this area is the support for nonprofits in general who are living it every day and up against extraordinary circumstances. I saw a former colleague in the back, and we're already projecting some shortfalls in areas over the next 3 years, and I think that's going to happen throughout as we move forward. What I also heard from folks here and from the feedback in here is how challenging it is to navigate some of the systems. And I can say on a personal level, with my own family dealing with a catastrophic illness, it is just a nightmare. And having some sort of more case managers and case management to help people navigate these intricate systems or have less intricate systems would be really helpful. I think I'll leave it at that for now so that I give my colleagues some other opportunities to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Borelli. Anyone? Who's next? All right, Commissioner Wyville.
There we go. I don't think this is working the entire meeting. Thank you all for joining tonight. This was really, really informative and really beneficial, I think, for our entire commission to hear directly from so many of you. I echo so many of your thoughts, Commissioner Borelli. I think that supporting our workers, supporting the people who are on the front lines doing this work is really important. And we've discussed this in commission meetings before. The West Hollywood livable wage, commendable as it is not enough, especially for our workers, our service providers who are living in and around West Hollywood. I'm also very concerned about how we are requiring or not requiring benefits for those that we are contracting to provide the very services that they perhaps may lack. And I'm also really curious to hear from staff maybe in a later conversation about how we decide hours billed, whether that's through full-time staffing, part-time staffing, and how that then affects benefits acquired for all of those frontline workers. I know this is an issue, especially for those caring for our most vulnerable populations. So I would like to dig in on this as we undergo this process. I also am very curious to learn more, because I don't think this has come before a commission, at least on my time here, about the childcare and preschool program that happens in Plummer Park. I know that West Hollywood is a city, we think of it as a city of older adults and young people typically, but I don't think we typically think of our city as a place of children and infants and it being family friendly, even though so much of what we do here, I think value-wise, is so in line with what it means to raise a family. I would like to discuss how we can improve support for children, for childcare. I think families stay in West Hollywood if their children are supported. So we have a lot of work to do there. And I will stop there for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wyville. Should we just go down the line? Commissioner Ayers?
Sure. First, I just want to thank everyone who came to speak today and came to support the speakers. We appreciate you taking the time to come out here and talk to us. And you know, many of you are actual service providers. Some of you are members of the public. We appreciate comments from everybody. I want to say thank you also to the boards and commissions who are able to carve out time in their busy agendas to discuss this and give us input, because that input is very valuable as well. And I really want to thank the staff. Dee, fabulous presentation. And this is the most dedicated team, I think, in the city. They develop very close relationships with the service providers that the city contracts with. They keep their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the areas that the service providers work in. So they're, you know, they are not who you might imagine as the stereotypical bureaucratic government worker. These are people who are service providers themselves. And in case you didn't know, during the recent fires, when the fires got around Sunset Boulevard, this was the team that stayed at work to answer the phones into the evening for people who are frightened if the fires got too close to them. So that's how dedicated they are, and I wanted to give them that support. We had earlier someone who suggested that we be prepared to think outside the box. We are prepared to think outside the box. I want to assure you of that. I completely agree with my fellow commissioners that this is a time to consider expanding funding and looking into emergency funding to fill gaps in the federal funding scenario. But also, we need to be innovative and think of ways to do more with less, and in addition to looking for more money. So we're ready to be innovative. We're ready to really, you know, do that work and brainstorm some ideas. Some examples, I think, of thinking outside the box is a few things that are on the horizon, which are micro grants for service providers. So we're looking into that. And also, the city had a wonderful pilot program of a guaranteed income program that I would love to see return, and I'd like to really look into how we can look at the populations who would benefit most from that, while adhering to, I guess, rules and regulations that the state and county and federal governments put on us. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, we're talking about gaps in federal funding, and there's one thing in particular that I see is falling beyond the gap, and that is the federal cuts to HIV funding in the United States and abroad, because that's a gap that cannot be filled with more money, right? You have people at risk now. Those of us who were in our 20s and 30s in the 1980s and early 1990s and are sitting here today wondering how we managed to get through that to be sitting here today, we know what this could mean, and it's scary. So, this is a whole other thing that we need to look at. And it's bigger than West Hollywood, but we're gonna find a way to try to take care of our people, right? And, there was one other thing, but I think I forgot. So I'm gonna pass it on. But honestly, I mean, we so care about getting services to people here. And communications being a big thing, and we're taking little steps toward getting the word out more, but we know that there's a lot that has yet to happen as far as like making sure these services get to the people who need them the most, and communications is a big thing. So there's that, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ayers. Commissioner Davis?
I would like also to thank the public and service providers and anyone who came this evening to speak or did not speak but was here. This is very important for us. We hear things that we don't normally hear, and we can digest it and start to work towards some solutions to some of the issues brought up. I would also like to thank the staff for this lovely boards and commissions report itself. I've been here a while, and this is my favorite report in probably since day one. And it did things for us that we wouldn't have done for ourselves, okay, if that makes sense. But we've done many different ways of trying to get the information from the boards and the commissions, and I think this one worked really well. And it gives me a lot of information, a lot of things that I did not know or thought were already taken care of. So that was very good, and I want to congratulate you for a very nice job done. I agree with Commissioner Borelli. More money, that I think is the thing I underlined more than anything else during the talking was, or any of the conversation, was more money. But I have to agree with Rick Watts that ADAP is what keeps me alive. I've been HIV positive for 40 years. I think he said 41, which is probably about the same time. And I could not afford my medicines otherwise. And so I think this is, it's scaring a lot of people, especially people who rely on services for their general health and well-being. And I am pleased also to see that out of this report, something that I've been kind of griping about or trying to get across to my other commissioners, is that when you start trying to get into a program, quite often the barrier is the amount of paperwork that you're going to do, the amount of things that you need to bring with you, it goes and it escalates. And also the fact that if I go to APLA and I get some services from them, then I turn around and go to JFS, I have to fill out duplicate paperwork, basically, for both organizations. And I can't believe just with all my heart, I think that there should be a way that if I'm in the system, that's all that matters. One stop, one system, and then JFS can look and see what APLA already has, APLA can look and see what the center already has, et cetera. Because it wears people out. Excuse me, I didn't mean to shout. And dealing with end-of-life issues in my own household, it is amazing the amount of paperwork. that is required for people just to get hope and then maybe services. So I'm really pleased to see that. There's a lot of information, and I agree with Commissioner Ayers. We are definitely, what is that called? Thinking outside the box. We almost have to. No more, this is going to work. We have to pay attention to what we can do and how best to do it. So I would like to agree with all my other commissioners, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Palmieri.
Good evening. I would like to thank everyone for coming out. I've been around for a while here, and it really amazes me the heart and soul that come to these meetings and let us know what you need. And this was a very peaceful meeting in that we were able to gather information rather than have anything yelled at us. And, and there are several things that kept coming up, not just once or twice. Clearly, trans folks are being attacked, clearly. So we certainly need to take a look at how we can assist our trans brothers and sisters in that we have limited funds. And trust me, we would like to give everyone everything they want. All of us would like to do that. We do have limited funds, but council hopefully will hear all of us and give us some more money and we can spread it out. But I think we have to, speaking of thinking outside the box, we have to think outside the box with trans folks, because it seems to me like they're the ones that are going to get the hardest hit right now. These budget cuts, I wrote down we're dealing with budget cuts. I don't even know if we are dealing with budget cuts yet. It could be very bad. It could be horrible. So one of my colleagues said maybe we should look at now and look at then, and I completely agree with that. I heard over and over from parents and from teachers and folks that work at the pathways and preschools, and over again that they need this service. Now, I have to tell you, when I first started here, this was not like a huge thing. We didn't hear a lot about kids, but things are changing, and certainly our way of thinking has to change. Expansion, well, if we have a space, why not? Let's look into that. We certainly can look into that. But I also am really happy that the parents that do have children in these services are so happy, because it makes me know that we don't have to worry about what's going on with our services. Home care increasing. As we age, we need these services more and more and more, and as our partners age, we need these services more and more and more. I think we may have to take a little more of a deeper dive into that. Low-cost veterinarian services. This may not affect everyone, but this is a pet city. And although I do take advantage of the discounted vaccination clinics that we have regularly at Plummer Park, please look them up online. There are services that are extraordinarily expensive, and not everybody can pull out a credit card. That's absolutely right, whoever said that. We don't have anything for pets right now. The one that we did have is no longer with us, correct, Derek? So we probably should start looking for something like that. I don't want to forget anything, just give me a second. Seeds of Hope seems to be short-staffed. We could definitely look into that and see if there's anything that we can come up with. And it could be something, you know, that's not on the table yet. It could be, we could figure something out. This is a city that figures things out. Transportation, you know, we do have several ways of getting around the city, and I think they're pretty good. If customer service is not good, that disappoints me. But the services that we are paying for and are providing are very good. We have Ambience, where you pay $16 a month to the city and you get $100 worth of like Uber or Lyft credits. We have the Dial-A-Ride. We have the shuttle. These are great services. If they're not being correctly distributed or politely distributed. Maybe that's something that staff would have to take a look at. Certainly, this commission wouldn't be micromanaging. And I think I have to bring this up, and certainly everyone does. HIV services are never going to be forgotten in West Hollywood. This was ground zero for HIV/AIDS. My first husband passed from HIV/AIDS. As long as I'm here, and all of my colleagues, I would imagine, this is not going to go away for us. We're going to try very, very hard and do the best that we can. It's on all of our minds. It's not, we realize that this could impact folks with HIV. We realize that. And it's on all of our minds, so please, please know that. Showers are available at Saban Clinic. I don't know if whoever was speaking about that knows. Every morning, I think they start at 7 o'clock. It's free. No one's turned away. And then the last one, well, last two things. Barriers make me insane. So just in my view, things could be a little bit more simpler. And don't put the barriers up, because barriers scare people. It's not only that they don't know how to do it or don't want to do it. Barriers scare people. And I think that's something that the providers need to look at. And then, of course, as always, we will be taking care of our folks that are suffering with addiction problems and get them into recovery services, get them into medical detox services. We will never forget that group of people. It's a large group in this city, unfortunately, but they're our friends and our brothers and sisters, and we will never forget them. So I hope if they're listening, if they're watching, they hear. And other than that, I am very grateful for all of you. I wish everyone stayed so we could thank you, but I thank all of you that are here and all of you that were here before.
Thank you, Commissioner Palmieri. Vice Chair Williams.
The problem when you're vice chair and you're chair, everyone says everything before you do. So, I agree with each of the commissioners. You brought up, I really don't have much to say more than I agree with you. I will thank the staff for this wonderful report. I want to thank the staff for doing the detailed work of going to each of the boards and commissions and asking those 3 questions. Again, this is a fabulous report. I keep repeating myself. I've sent emails. I pulled you aside. Great job on this report. I want to thank everyone who took the time to come here to speak tonight, because this, my favorite word in the universe is Ubuntu, which is I am because you are. I am because you are. We are a community. I've been in the city for over 25 years. I've been a commissioner off and on. And don't forget, we are public servants. We are nothing without you. You have to communicate to us, and tonight people came to communicate, and it was moving and empowering and educational. So please remember, we are your public servants. Keep talking to us. If you see us walking down the street, some people may not like this, pull us aside, give us a chat. You know, if I'm on the bicycle, don't stop me. Wait till I get to the stop sign, and then you can talk to me. But our pets, our people, our seniors, our children are a priority, and it is our job as a community for each one of us sitting here and out there to take care of each other. It's one of the wonderful things about this city. We are a community, we are a neighborhood, and we will take care of each other through the thick and the thin and the craziness that's been put before us. There are some things that were brought up that I really like. Through the report, one of the things that kept popping up are central resource centers, and some people brought it up tonight. I think it's a brilliant idea to create these resource centers so that we can be of service and liaison, so you don't have to keep filling out paperwork, and you don't have to keep going to different nonprofits, and you don't, you know, when you're not feeling well, or you're at a point in your age where you don't want to move around as much as you used to, is essential to have everything, I love things concise. It's written here, concise. To be efficient and concise is very important. I love the idea of having a senior citizen handyman, handywoman. That makes so much sense. For everyone who's suffering or brought up funding, we're going to do our best. And also, I believe in workarounds and thinking outside the box. I drive the staff crazy and my fellow commissioners by always suggesting something outside the box. We have to think about interns, we have to think about work programs, we have to think about maybe sharing resources and maybe putting together and creating a team so we can help serve our clients and our constituents as best we can. But finally, to wrap up, thank you so much for being here. You making the time warms my heart. And to the emotional dad, you almost got me. I'm a crier. I had to look down. I was almost there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I got to reiterate all the gratitude. Staff, thank you so much for this incredible report. To the public, to the providers, thank you for being here tonight, for sharing your passion, for sharing your ideas, for sharing your concerns. It really means so much to us. This is such an important night for this commission because we can only make decisions if we're informed by our community. So really appreciate the time. Just some things that I heard and want to double down on: the centralized hub, the opportunity to streamline these services. There is a lot of intersectionality in the work that you all are doing, that our providers are doing, that our community needs. So if there is a way to have maybe a staff or an office or some kind of way so that we can centralize this, make it one form for all the services, I think that's important because people need these services. They need them now, and they don't want to fill out any more paperwork. The other thing that I think is important, we talk about it all the time, and I heard it a lot tonight and through emails and text messages, we have got to figure out how to market what these services are so that our community knows that they exist. That I think is so unbelievably critical. I'm a pet parent, so I really appreciate the conversation around that. Pets help fight isolation. Pets get people outside, get them communicating with neighbors, their companions, their friends, and vet costs can bankrupt people. So if there is a way to do something to support that, I think that's important. Everybody already covered all the other things I wanted to say. I just want to add that this is a strange time in our country's history, and it calls for radical impact, and it calls for innovation, and it calls for more funding. Really, if there was ever a time to double down on the work that we're doing and the investments that we're making in our community, we have got to take care of people, and we have to do it right now. So I just want to make that final call that this is probably the most critical time in our history to invest in these types of programs and make sure that our people are okay. So. Thank you. With that, is there anything else that folks want?
Can I have one thing,
Wyville?
Chair?
Yes.
Apologies. And also, thank you, staff. I apologize for not thanking you later. You're amazing. I love you. Thank you for making our lives so easy. Truly, I think we all share that sentiment. There was one more thing that I wanted to add, I think, to this discussion, something that is so important and powerful about this commission and our work in the city of West Hollywood, which is that our city doesn't just serve people that live here. We serve people that work here. We serve people that play here. We serve people that drive through here, because that is what the city was founded on. It was about giving care to people no matter where they come from, providing sanctuary for people fleeing other places. And I think as we go through this cycle, that is in mind for all of us. And in this moment, in this country, there will continue to be people that come to West Hollywood from elsewhere. There will continue to be people that do not come to West Hollywood but want to come to West Hollywood. And we have to make sure that through this work, through our services, through everything that the city does, that we remain a place for people to be safe, to be free. And I'm incredibly grateful to all of my fellow commissioners and our staff in our great city for I think really making this idea of the city the driving factor in so much of the work that we do. So appreciate all of you for being here, for coming from so many different places at who knows when, at what time in your life, but we all ended up here and very, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Borelli?
Sorry, lastly, I do want to say, because we did have some great ideas come up. I think it was Helen who mentioned the handy person. We need your help too. this is an open RFP process. So it's going to open later this month. So if you know people, or if you know programs, if you know services on something you heard tonight, that you can share the wealth and get them to fill out the RFP and send it in to us, open it up and let us know. We want to hear all from everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Any final statements? Okay, great. Otherwise, we will move on to items from staff.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Christine Saverit. I am the assistant to the city manager and am the acting human services manager. A couple of items for you this evening. First, I just wanted to recap a couple of related city council initiatives and items that are coming your way or that you may want to be aware of. The first is an update on the city's approach to homelessness. The City Council Homelessness Subcommittee will be meeting this Thursday, April 10th at 8:30 at City Hall. That is a public meeting, and the subcommittee will be discussing the agenda and the format for the City Council's discussion on updating the city's approach to homelessness. City Council will then be discussing that at the City Council meeting on June 9th, which happens in this room. So the subcommittee staff reports are public and agendized. They're available on the city's website, and there will be a staff report for that discussion item on June 9th when those agendas are also published. Switching gears, it is also our second-year update to the city's two-year budget. I know you have been following along very closely in this process. The City Council Budget Subcommittee meeting, the next meeting will be Tuesday, April 22nd at 9:30 a.m. at City Hall. That is a public meeting, and you're all welcome to attend or to make public comments through the city's process. There will be a priority setting session of the City Council at the City Council meeting on May 5th. That will be here in this chamber. There will be a report to the City Council with an update on staffing positions as related to the FY26 budget on May 19th. The proposed city manager's budget for FY26 will go to City Council for receive and file on June 9th. That provides approximately 2 weeks before the June 23rd council meeting, where the City Council will have the opportunity to discuss the budget and either make changes or adopt the budget as proposed. We will put that all in writing and also send it to you. Those are my updates, and then I believe staff also has some updates related to the RFP process. Thank you so much.
Real quick, I'm just going to go over some of the key dates for the RFP process that are coming up. So on April 21st, we will be incorporating all of the discussion points that you've talked about today into the final RFP for the April 21st City Council meeting, which they will be receiving the RFP document to approve for release on April 25th. We will have the bidders conference for all potential applicants on May 7th. And then the proposals will be due on June 5th. The Human Services Commission will discuss all of the proposals on July 8th. And the Human Services Commission and city staff will be making funding recommendations on July 22nd. And the City's Council will receive those funding recommendations on August 18th. So I can send around the calendar again for the commissioners to have it. We will also send it to all the applicants prior to the bidders conference. So that is something to mark your calendars for. And then lastly, I wanted to mention that the city is looking into expanding other service providers that we could potentially be procuring for outside of nonprofits. There's certain things like veterinary services. We don't have many nonprofits in the area that provide them. So we could be looking at different businesses to help us with those services. So that's one thing the city is looking into. And Maribel has something.
Thank you, Derek. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, and public at large. My name is Maribel Ulloa. As part of the RFP process, we want to ensure a fair and equitable process for all potential applicants. City staff, Human Services Commissioners must refrain from discussing the upcoming RFP with any applicant. Any communication outside from the formal RFP process could create an unfair advantage. All questions or requests for clarification regarding the RFP must be submitted via instructions and timelines outlined in the RFP document. We thank you all for your cooperation in adhering to this process, which will help to ensure a fair, open, and competitive environment for all participants. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other items from staff? All right. Public comment. We do have one additional public comment. Emmanuel Aris.
Hi, good evening. Hello, there it goes. Hi, good evening. My name is Emmanuel Aries. I'm a new resident to West Hollywood, but I'm also representing for the Safer WeHo Coalition. And I kind of just wanted to share as a new resident, one of the areas that I hope that we can be able to improve upon is really making sure that we discuss some of the drug and alcohol related harms, maybe some crisis intervention programs or services we can put in place. We would love to be able to support that, as well as education and advocacy, because I have seen a lot of people within my area. I live near the 7-Eleven. And I've seen a lot of interesting experiences, and I would love to be able to support those people, as well as my team that I have here today. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Welcome to the city.
Thank you.
I would like to approach.
A public comment? Do you have public comment right now? Yes. Okay. As long as I can get a speaker slip from you right after you speak, it's 2 minutes.
Now, my name is Alex Salaverria, and I'm making the city aware of numerous problems, including extreme corruption within the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department. Now, 2 days ago, I had $15,000 of HIV medications stolen, and at the same time, it had federal court documents of an active federal case in the Eastern District of Louisiana against the state of California. And now the city of West Hollywood is going to be incorporated into it. It's very worrisome that you take these things seriously, especially when it's concerning long-term AIDS survivors. I'm not going to be coming here or making any other comments other than what the Honorable Judge Jane Trish Milazzo will do so, as for in the case that is open right now, which is 24-CV-02930 JTM KWR. This is for the record of the city that these types of actions not only will be reported to Washington, but further on to Geneva in Switzerland as for what concerns human rights and everything associated to it. If you stand here as a country, think that you can say that you respect human rights as like what you say in your billboards and everything all together, then mean it and actually do so. Because between the 25 years that I've been present in this city, back and forth into the East Coast, I've seen a decline, and especially when it concerns protections of all these things that you say to protect. Trent Miles is someone who is a detective and that I've known for over 27 years and has been seesaw to things and all that. And I make this comment because all of these people, together with all of you then, will be called upon a federal court in Louisiana.
Thank you. All right, next, if there's no other public comment, correct, Derek? Items from commissioners. Who wants to start?
I don't have much.
Commissioner Wyville.
Just want to thank everyone again for coming out tonight. Thank staff and my fellow commissioners for a great discussion. I'm sure this is the first of many to come. And encourage everyone to stay involved in this process. It's going to be a fun few months for the community.
Thank you, Commissioner Wyville. Commissioner Davis?
Actually, I didn't have anything. I just want to congratulate Commissioner Wyville for saying something I wish I'd have said. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to ping pong. Commissioner Ayers?
I just want to report that in the last month since our last meeting, I had the opportunity to speak at one of the City of West Hollywood's Women's History Month events, a presentation of short films. And I also attended an event around the report on the status of women and girls in California, which is all very interesting in this day and time. And I had one question for staff regarding the status of the Holloway project. It looks like, to me, things are starting to get ready as far as the construction wrapping up. I was just wondering if we could get maybe a report at our next meeting about what next steps are, what the timeline looks like.
Absolutely, you are correct. We are getting very close, and we will come back with an update.
Thank you.
Okay, I thought maybe that was on purpose. Commissioner Palmieri?
I don't have anything to say. I just want to ask staff to please send us. Hello. Derek, I'd like to ask staff to please send us both of those calendars and dates that that are going to be imperative for us to know. That's all I have to say tonight.
Great, thank you. All right, Vice Chair, do you have anything?
Thank you, everyone, again for showing up. Thank you, my fellow commissioners, for being so engaged. This past Saturday, I went to something, speaking of animals, called Pet Picasso, and I was more than happy to take my Etta James, a Chihuahua Corgi, to a very fun event that was, a lot of money was put into it, and she got some fabulous toys, and we got a caricature that's already on the wall. I framed it. I just really appreciate that because it's something exciting to do. I saw Commissioner Ayers there, and we chatted a little bit. She got to meet Etta James. So I want to thank the park and the recreation staff for doing a great job on that. And then I also want to thank the people who put on the food day, the vegan day on Monday. I heard great things about it over at Plummer Park, so thank you for doing that. And on a personal note, I just want to say happy anniversary to my mom and dad. Today is their 47th anniversary. And I love you guys. It's on record.
Awesome, thank you. No additional comments from me. Just again, I really appreciate everybody's time and energy and efforts and passion tonight. So thank you. I think if there's nothing else from the commission, would like to adjourn honoring your parents' anniversary, happy anniversary, to Frank and Sylvia Williams, and also want to adjourn tonight in memory of Michelle's father. We're so sorry, in memory of Michael Lieberman. Thank you. And with that, I will call this meeting to an end.